Hello, physics students, Mr. Standerson here. I want to walk you through a really quick way to use the Pythagorean theorem when you're solving problems with vectors. Remember, you're going to want to think about right triangle math. And so Pythagorean theorem works on right triangles, and the hypotenuse is a result of our a and our b combined together. Okay, so we can always use our a squared plus b squared equals c squared to find one of those quantities. Now, what we're going to do is have a situation that maybe looks like this, where we might have a vector that is 8 meters long pointing to the right. So thinking about my direction, that's a positive 8. And then something pointing up at 12, that is a positive 12. Now, to find out what the resultant is, if we start here, we want to know where we're going to end up. We're not going to end up at 8, and we're not going to end up at 12. We're going to end up at the combination of 8 and 12. 8 is all x values, and 12 is all y values. The resultant is the hypotenuse. So you can use the Pythagorean theorem, plugging in what we know for a squared, which is 8, b squared, which is 12 squared, and that equals c squared. Solving, take the square root of both sides, and our hypotenuse is 14.42. That is the resultant of this small example. All right, now, the same thing can also be done when we're talking about SOHCAHTOA. SOHCAHTOA is another powerful right triangle tool that we have, where if we know what the angle is, and then we can find one of the sides or the hypotenuse. So when we look at a problem that's like this, where if we have, for example, a ball that is kicked with a force of 100 newtons, if we know what the angle of that is, let's say it's 100 newtons at 60 degrees north of east. Why I'd say north of east is this is the east line, and it's north of that at 60 degrees. Now, if I want to find out what the x and the y values are, I can use my cosine and sine using my SOHCAHTOA. Remember, SOHCAHTOA works on right triangles, where we have the sine is opposite over hypotenuse, cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, and tangent is opposite over adjacent. So if I'm finding this x value, the adjacent side, I can use cosine. Cosine has adjacent and hypotenuse. I already know the hypotenuse is 100. I'm trying to find out what that adjacent side is. Substituting in what I know, cosine of 60, making sure my calculator's in degree mode, I can solve through, and I get my x value to be 50. That means on this side of the triangle, my x value is 50. So I could draw it like this, knowing that this is now 50 newtons of x. Now, I already know the same thing. If I want to find out my y value, I can use the same hypotenuse. That's what I meant by the same thing. I can use the hypotenuse again, but now I'm going to use sine instead of cosine because I'm looking for the opposite side, this side right here, which represents y. Solving through, I'm going to say the hypotenuse times the sine of 60 is equal to that opposite side, or in this case, 86.6. So then I could redraw this as 86.6 newtons up, right triangle, and I know what I started with was the hypotenuse. This must equal 100 if my degree is 60 degrees. So this helps you find any of the sides using what we know for right triangle math with either SOHCAHTOA or the Pythagorean theorem. Please take a look at reviewing this and let me know if you have any questions. Thanks, and have a great day.